So do y'all remember when Donald Trump said they ain't sending their best and their brightest? Well, now he's saying that Americans don't have the talent to do the jobs. And I know there's going to be someone out there somewhere saying, now, wait a minute, hold on, Brando. He didn't say that. You're taking him out of context. Well, here he is in this interview with Laura Ingraham. And when you lose Laura Ingraham on Fox News, you have really lost the plot. So have all the fun you want, MAGA, explaining this one.
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean
Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
well, we
a
have
country
plenty of talented people
no, you
here.
don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
So, not far from me is the town of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and back in the day, they built a nuclear plant, and FDR took our grandfather's generation off of unemployment lines and put them to work in that factory. Well, boys, that was your papa's generation. It's not you, because you ain't the best and the brightest. And besides, you can't be working around batteries. That's some dangerous stuff there. I mean, what in the hell is this? And how in the hell can this dude do such an about face from everything he ever said? And how does it feel, or how would it feel, because I don't have no clue, but how would it feel to be someone who triple trumped, who went out there, went to bat for him on 3 separate occasions, after everything they were shown, after every receipt that was brought and was put in front of their face, and they said, nope, 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 it's not happening, you're taking it out of context, it's not real, blah, blah, blah. How do they sit there then and hear him say that we don't have talent here in this country? And how do they sit there and hear him say the economy is booming and it's doing better than ever and prices is lower than ever, when I know they're shopping in the same grocery store as me? Take a look at this.
But even with interest rates up, the economy is the strongest it's ever been. You know, you asked me, just to go back to the beginning of your question, you talked about prices. We're down on energy. We're down on interest rate. You know, interest rates are down despite the Fed. Now, if we had a normal person at the Fed, would have really low interest rates, and we will soon have that. We'll have somebody that's...
And why are people saying they're anxious about the economy? Why are they saying that?
I don't know that they are saying. I think polls are fake. We have the greatest economy we've ever had. We will have over $20 trillion come into our economy, and it's largely because of my election, but it's also largely because of tariffs.
As always, he says the polls are fake. Anything that speaks negative of him must be fake. But what I would ask his supporters who triple trumped is, how fake is that grocery bill? How fake is your life day to day trying to figure out how to feed your family, trying to take care of yourself, trying to take care of your sick parents? How is any of that fake? And how can you sit there and let a man just constantly gaslight you and tell you now that everything is miraculously okay? You know, back when Joe Biden was elected, and yeah, he won that election, whether Donald Trump or any of his supporters want to admit it or not, I had enough sense to know that Joe Biden wasn't going to be able to come in and in the first 9 months just make America great. I knew that it was going to take time for him to pull off what it was that he was saying. And it baffles me that someone can say, oh, this guy just fixed it on day one. Just the fact that he would say you're going to see it happen on day one was like the ultimate used car salesman line. And there used to be like an old car lot over for me, and there was an old guy, he had all the right lines. He had all the used car salesman lines. You would go over to his place, and he'd come walking out smoking a cigar in one hand, and he'd have a screwdriver in the other. Not a screwdriver, but vodka and orange juice. And he would come walking out, And he'd be like, here's the car you need right over here, buddy. I just got it in. Little old lady just drove it to church on Sunday. That's as far as it ever went. Or he would say, I drove this car down to Florida. It run like a top. And he said it every time that you ever swapped cars with him. He said it about every car. It didn't matter what it was. That's the line that he used. And people were always like, man, that guy's so full of shit. That guy is so full of shit. He never drove that car to Florida. And some little old lady didn't just drive that back and forth to church. But the same people that would bust out that used car salesman are buying this used car salesman line, hook, line, and sinker, and it's their lives that are suffering because of it. At least with the old car dealer in my town, you didn't have to go to his lot. You know, you could just sit back and go, I ain't going to go there. But you have to go here. You have to go to Donald Trump's America. You elected it. You went for it 3 times. You tried 3 times to put this guy over the finish line because you believed in what he was saying. And now you're going to have 50 years to pay off your home. And what's funny about this one to me is I know so many people in my part of the world, and me too for this matter, that says, you know what, damn, man, 65's when you retire, so you just work your whole life away to get what, a couple of years, and then you're gone. But don't worry about it. You got 50 years now. I'm 45, so when I'm 95, I'm paying this place off. Woo!
Housing director has proposed something that has enraged your MAGA friends, which is this 50-year mortgage idea. So a significant MAGA backlash, calling it a giveaway to the banks and simply prolonging the time it would take for Americans to own a home outright. Is that really a good idea?
It's not even a big deal. I mean, you know, you go from 40 to 50 years, and what it means is 50, you pay something less from 30. That some people had a 40, and then now they have a 50. All it means is you pay less per month. You pay it over a longer period of time. It's not like a big factor. It might help a little bit. But the problem was that Biden did this. He increased the interest rates, and I have a lousy Fed person who's going to be gone in a few months.
It's not even a big deal. Just don't worry about it. You got 50 years now. Just take all the time you need. You'll be 95, have your place paid off. Everything will be great. Folks, he's sitting on Fox News with one of the biggest puppets in mainstream media history. And trust me, she knows what their audience believes in and knows what their audience wants to hear. I mean, this is the place. He's not over here on MSNBC. He's not over here on another network. He's on Fox. He's on a place where he should be absolutely safe from ever getting cornered on any kind of question like that. But even she is calling bullshit. And she's saying, this is what MAGA's saying. This is what our viewers say. This is what they want. They're calling bullshit on this. I think that's all fake. How fake is their lives? And how fake is their day-to-day struggles? They're not. But they will sit here and they will follow around after this used car salesman and chase him. And they'll keep chasing that carrot and chasing that carrot. And it's so frustrating to sit back and watch. I know people probably in my part of the world, there's a lot of them that views me like I'm some sort of traitor. Like, how could you ever have the views you have? Well, I'm not trying to be cocky or condescending when I say this, but first of all, I studied my history. And I studied how that carpetbaggers come to Appalachia and just absolutely raked people over the coals. There was a time, though, when my grandfather's generation would stand up and kick against that. And that's what created the place called Bloody Harlan, if you go read and study that. But we went from Bloody Harlan to we're friends of coal. We went from Bloody Harlan to let's just line up behind these carpetbaggers and kiss their ass. And I don't know how that happened. I don't know how we lost the plot. But here we are. So you can call me a traitor all day long, but I really have questions. When you sit there and go for this carpetbagger, I picture every one of our grandfather's generation who ever kicked against those carpetbaggers. I picture them rolling, turning cartwheels in their grave. So yeah, there you go. Don't worry about it. It's all okay. And you'll have your house paid off when you're 95. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it. And oh, by the way, you're not the best and the brightest.